Life Coach, and I want to welcome you to the Monday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. And today is all about how to begin to make your mind happy. It's a fairly simple process. It really is. It just takes a bit of time for a process that you need to initiate and maintain. We're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. I just want to bring this up. Let us see here. Wonderful. Let's see who we've got here today. Here we go. Yeah, so I don't know who it was that came to me this morning. They're very light being, very gentle, easy. It felt like fairies, but they weren't fairies. There was something more etheric than that. And they said, they start off with the concept of addiction, what addiction is about. Addiction is where people run to the sensation of their body because they do not know how to regulate the activity of their mind. They run to the sensation of their body because they do not know how to regulate the activity of their mind. And that fit the bill pretty good for me from my past experience. That's essentially what it does. It's addiction draws you into this sensation of the body because the body does not think like your brain thinks, like your mind thinks. Your body does not have thoughts running around in them. It has thoughts and emotions that affect them. But they said very clearly that that's what addiction is, that people run to the sensation of the body because it's easier than having to deal with the responsibility of learning how to regulate their mind. And they said most of what's in people's minds isn't even their own, so they're confused. It's not theirs, then they know it's not theirs. A lot of it. Think of how many thoughts you have in your head right now that aren't yours. Right? That aren't yours. Thoughts that you have in your head that are not yours. Good morning, Sunny. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Trinity and Allison. Begin to make your mind happy. So where do we start with this? They said it's very simple. You have to face your mind. You have to look at what's there and realize that it does not own you. What is in your mind does not own you unless you allow it, unless you believe that what is in your thoughts is greater than what you are as the awareness that inhabits that body. Imagine that people believe that their thoughts are more real than they themselves are. And all thoughts really are is information. That's all thoughts are. They're information. Information in our minds, not who you are. So the beginning step is to begin to be fearless in looking at the thoughts in your mind. The thoughts are not who you are. Even the name you've been given isn't who you are. You know, the personality that you are isn't who you are. It's a collage of information that you utilize to express yourself through, but it's not who you are. Begin that process of looking at your mind. Second step, they said, is to begin to become willing to reject thoughts that aren't true, to decide consciously that thought is not true, to seriously, honestly decide that thought's not true. It's just a thought in my mind. It's not who I am. And I remember the very first time I was guided to start controlling my thoughts when I was very young, going back about 42 years. When I first received the thought from somebody who said, have you ever considered that you're loving and lovable? And I'd never considered that I was loving and lovable. And the first time I thought that thought, a feeling came over me. So I generated a thought that had never been in my mind before that was actually a good thought about me. And I'd never had a lot of good thoughts at that point in my life. But that first step of looking at a new thought after realizing that I couldn't live with the old thoughts. I literally couldn't live. I was suicidal at the time. And a lot of people go through that because they think that their thoughts and their emotions are more real than they are. That's what happens to most people. They believe their thoughts and their emotions are more real than they are. And yet you can observe your thoughts. You can observe your emotions. You can be aware that there's fear, there's anger, there's guilt, there's shame, there's joy, there's bliss, there's happiness. We can be aware, right? And if you're aware of them, you're not them. You're observing them. And if your thoughts, you're observing your thoughts, this thought about you or that thought about you, they're just thoughts. They're not who you are. You are the observer of them. So addiction is the first place a lot of people run to escape the responsibility of learning to run and operate their own mind. This is a common problem we see on the planet today, that many of you tend to run away from the responsibility of dealing with the mess that someone else has put in your mind. Someone else put a mess in your mind. Many things put a mess in your mind. And your mind cannot change itself. You can put more into it, you can take stuff out of it, but it cannot change itself. Your mind requires you to change it. Many of you run to other beings to try and show you how to change your mind, but how is that working out for your global psychiatric and mental health systems? There's a great struggle underway right now because no one can change your mind but you. No one can change your emotional energy but you. And so when we came to this one today, we said very clearly, it is simple. The very act of becoming aware that your thoughts are yours to change, to accept, to reject, that your emotions are responses to the nature and quality of the meaning that those thoughts have. And that the moment you begin to change thought, you begin to change and alter emotional conditions that arise in the body as a result of the chemistry that's produced from certain constructions of thought. And so take some time today to begin to make your mind happy. Look at your thoughts. Do not be afraid. Your thoughts cannot hurt you, or they are simply thoughts. But if you are not aware that they are just thoughts, then you might actually believe that they're real. And you might actually believe that your emotions are real, that they are greater than you are. But we can assure you that you are far more potent in the reality of creation than your thoughts and emotions ever can be. To face your thoughts, that this thought is true or not true, you get to decide. You get to sit in judgment of your own mind. You get to assess as if you're assessing an employee or a person or an opportunity. You get to assess, is this true? Is this not true? Is this right? Is this not right? You have the opportunity to begin the process of assessment. And in that process of assessment, you can liberate yourself. You can liberate yourself from the very thoughts that might be plaguing you, from the very emotions that those thoughts generate. This is not complex. It is very simple. Are you willing? Are you willing to begin to make your mind happy and to choose to keep it that way? Or you may choose to defer the responsibility over the thoughts in your mind to others as long as you wish. But most of you have been raised with the thoughts of others, by the thoughts of others, by the information provided to you from this world exclusively, and find yourself confused and uncertain and looking for something outside of yourself to give you the truth that only you can discover for yourself. And so there's this process of becoming aware, of being fearless, coming to face your thoughts, coming to face the change that you need to make in your mind to begin to make your mind happy. Your thoughts are just information. They are not who you are. Even the name that was given to the body that you currently inhabit is but a thought, an idea, information that again the world gave to you. And the world, or at least certain numbers of individuals in the world, delight in having you stuck in the world, unable to control your mind, unable to control your own thoughts, unable to control your, because there is a benefit to them being able to do this. There we go. There's a benefit to them being able to do this, but there's a greater benefit to you not allowing that. But the thoughts in your mind, when you begin to alter and regulate them by choice, by being conscious, by being aware, as you begin that process, you will begin to discover freedom. When you gain enough experience realizing that you can release thoughts, you can create thoughts, you can delete thoughts, You can alter emotional conditions in your mind and your body by learning how to regulate your mind. When you learn to regulate your mind, there's a certain thing that begins to happen with your body. When you begin to fill your mind with thoughts that are more conducive to the quality of your being, then your body too will begin to change, because when you change your thoughts, you alter the chemistry that your brain produces to direct the body, because your mind directs your body as you should be directing your mind. X is to Y as Y is to Z. Soul is to mind as mind is to body. You must understand this. You are to your mind as your mind is to your body. But many of you believe that you are your mind, so there's no intervening consciousness to alter it, but you are that consciousness. And this is very simple. Be willing to start that. Do not be afraid to change your thoughts. Do not be afraid to relinquish the emotions that are connected to those thoughts. Begin to make your mind happy. And from my own personal experience, it took me a long time with little or no guidance from outside of me. I had a couple of mentors, really amazing beings that came into my life. And there were a few choice books that I found along the way that really helped me get some thoughts that were constructive, because there are lots of beings on this planet that have beautiful, beautiful souls and are beautiful beings, have great minds, will give you wisdom and truth that will let you see and think clearer. You know, a lot of the yogis and mystics are like that, where you can go and see them. So I was fortunate enough to run into a few beings that were able to give me some ideas about different types of thoughts, and I hope you'll find the same thing too. But the feeling I got when they came in this morning was just so beautiful. It was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Make it simple. Make the mind happy. Just begin to make your mind happy. Start now. Don't wait. Don't delay. You know, pills and drugs to stop yourself from feeling certain ways are not going to free you from your mind. They're not going to free you from your mind. You know, what science is beginning to understand now is that chemistry in the body is created by what's happening in the mind, brain. And what's happening in the brain is due in part to what's going on in the subconscious field. And most of what's going on in the subconscious field comes from your subconscious mind that you've acquired. Take the time to begin to make your mind happy, simply. Well, anyway, we're going to get into some questions regarding this. Also, I want to say, if you like this channel, please remember to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like this video, give it a thumbs up, help bring it up into the algorithm things. And yeah, check out my website if you want to know some of the upcoming events that are occurring. We got our courses and classes starting August the 28th. For those of you that want to register for our mediumship program, please consider doing that. Let's see. Oh, good morning, Con. Good morning, Allison. Hi, Vanessa. Wow. Hello, Drusilla. Wow. Hello, Audrey. Question from Drusilla. How can I be awake and spiritually aware and still smoke? I am shocked by this. Yeah, the only reason you're shocked is because you believe that what the substance is doing for you is greater than what you believe it can do without you. The underlying desire that you have not expressed, that you're smoking, hides from you, will be revealed when you surrender it. When you get this urge to smoke, consider that which is trying to emerge. For the cigarette itself does not give you the urge, does it? The urge for this cigarette comes from within you. It comes from within you. Your science might say it is the chemistry, and we would disagree and say quite simply that there is something in you that's been trying to emerge, and somewhere along your process, you were told to suppress that, to not express that, to not be that. So surrender your smoking for some time and ask yourself the question, what is it that seeks to emerge from me? What seeks to emerge from you? Not what it is that you need to fulfill that feeling inside that calls for what you think is the cigarette. It is something calling you inside, something to be expressed that's unique and wondrous expression of your own being that has been denied. And I can speak from personal experience that's true. I smoked for 30 years, and I had an epiphany one day where I was sitting and I was about to light a cigarette, and I thought, wait, again, it was probably a download from them, and because then I wasn't aware of these beings as I am now. And the feeling inside, I thought, wait a minute, this urge for a cigarette is something, I got the epiphany, it's something trying to emerge. And what came to me when I felt the urge was writing. I started writing. I became quite a prolific writer for some time. And that really shifted me. It stopped me from smoking. I haven't been smoking since. Let's see here. Hi there. Question from Trinity. Is there a message from my, excuse me. Is there a message from my mom's dad for us? Wow, your mom's dad for us. Oh dear. Yeah, there's the words, oh dear, and a hand to her cheek. Oh dear. It's not like, oh dear, it's like, oh dear. It's like he's really communicating like the surprise. He's really quite surprised that he can actually interact energetically like this with you. Yeah. Oh dear. I can't get the tone the way he's got it. But it's like hand to your cheek. Yes. Yes. Yeah, he's just very grateful, very, very grateful that you'd call on him. People don't realize, we expect when people have left their body, we don't visually see them unless we develop our sight receptors to perceive a broader spectrum of light. But when somebody leaves the body, they don't have a physical body to connect with you on, but they still have a soul, an awareness, a consciousness that you can connect to energetically. There are very few people that I know that have had somebody leave that hasn't felt their presence. And that's the key. Feel the energy of their presence. Feel the energy of his presence right now. Like, feel him with you right now. There's so many things. There's like this torrent of love and gratitude and connection and yearning, strong yearning as well. Feel the energy. Don't try to, You should be able to feel the touch on the cheek though. He says you should be able to feel that on the cheek. Cool. Thank you so much, Trinity. Question from Nancy. My youngest son is recovering from years of drugs and is making positive changes, but seems lost. Any message from him? Get him to this channel. Get him to watch some of these videos. He doesn't have to do this alone. He's got guardian angels that can start helping him right now. He's got 4 or 5 guardian angels that want to work with him. He needs to, yeah. They're very excited now because of recognizing. Okay, tell your son to begin a process of learning to quiet his mind. Tell your son to begin a process of learning to quiet his mind. They want to work with him. They really want to work with him. The issue is in the mind now. He has to release that. That's where he's struggling with. The addiction is not the problem. It never is. The issue is with the way the mind is working, and he needs to teach that. So he's using a lot of, they're telling me he's using a lot of willpower. Your son is using a lot of willpower, and that takes a lot of energy. That's why he's struggling. So he needs to then begin to train mind and body to be still and quiet. Like he really needs to train the mind and body to work with him. Oh, the light's shining in. I love it. Thank you for that question. Grand Rising. Think good thoughts. Yes, that's correct. Good morning, Carolyn. Question from SJK. I would like to change my first name because it never matched me. But which name is the right one? This is a good question. One of my daughters has changed her name several times, and each time it's felt right because she's evolved and changed. You need to really sit with it. They're telling me not to give you information like that. They're saying that you already know this. They're saying the name you must choose must feel like music. I don't know why they're saying that, but they're saying the name you must choose must feel like music to you. I don't know why they're saying that, but they are. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It gets easier, Drusilla. Hi, Stephen. Good morning. Question from Vertical. Many people think others are supposed to make them happy. Instead, happiness comes from within, from the awareness of the God or goddess within. You are that in your essence. I mean, you can use the word God, goddess, soul, higher self. Doesn't matter what name you assign to the nature of what you are. Suffice to say that you are a spiritual entity that functions through a physical and mental medium, an invisible medium called the mind and a visible medium called the body. You are a spiritual consciousness, spiritual entity, high self, whatever label you want to give to it. It's from that perspective of awareness that you are that you can begin to orchestrate changes in mind and body. Mind and body cannot orchestrate changes in themselves. They're not able to do that by themselves. The environment can act upon the body and compel the body instinctually to make certain changes. But the body and mind in and of themselves are reactive to either an outside agency or you as the internal agency, the soul, the spirit, the divine, the God, the goddess, whatever name you want to give to the delightful being that you are, soul. Remember that. Yes. Question from ZB. Things seem to continue to deteriorate around me despite my physical efforts and me trying to hold my energy in the correct space. Any message for me? Yes. Stop trying to orchestrate events around you. Begin to orchestrate the events within you. Coordinate your mind into the desired state that you require in the world around you. The deterioration of these events may increase or decrease depending upon the nature of what it is you choose to orchestrate as far as changes go inside your mind. If you are orchestrating changes that are love-based in your own mental system, then the world around you, as long as the emotional qualities are in alignment with it, will begin to reflect that. The very nature of your emotional energy is what creates or generates conditions and experiences around you. The very nature of emotion orchestrates behavior. And as you can tell, whenever the emotion is erratic or irrational, then events and circumstances don't make sense because your emotions cannot think for you. But they can create conditions. They can move energy. They can move the body. They can move the world around you. Get your mind into deeper alignment. Get your mind into deeper alignment with that which you are, which from our perspective is beautiful and loving. Things may deteriorate as you change, not because they're happening to you, but because you are orchestrating change in your world. What we would ask you is coming into your life that is not deteriorating. What things are coming into your life that represents more of what you want? You must begin to keep your eye out for what you want and not so much about what you do not want. If you keep your eye on what you do not want, that is all you will see. So keep your eye open for what you do want and be prepared to receive it. Question from Minaj. My dad told me through another medium that he is always with me very subtly, and that is why I can't feel him. Why can't he be strongly with me in a very obvious way so that I can always feel him? You have to direct. It's like you cannot see ultraviolet rays. You can learn to see ultraviolet rays. You can learn to see auric fields around bodies. You need to change your perceptual sensitivity. Remember, the body organically is designed to perceive a certain bandwidth with the eyes, hear a certain bandwidth with the ears. You need to train your awareness to perceive beyond the normal range of what your senses normally allow you to. In other words, we do this in our Mediumship 101 program. We teach people how to become more sensitive to the subtler energies around you that become less subtle as you become more aware of them. There's they used to have these little 3D pictures. You could look at the picture and you couldn't see any of it. It's just this collection of blotches of color. But if you stared at it long enough, suddenly a picture would emerge. You know, in Gestalt therapy, on the cover of their main book, there's a picture of a chalice, but it's also two faces looking at each other. You can see one or the other at the same time. So learning to train your awareness to perceive what is beyond its normal range of senses will allow you to tap into his energy. I mean, yeah, he's very strongly around you. He's strongly around you But again, you're waiting for him to come to you rather than you reaching out to him. Expand your perceptual capabilities. Sense and feel. When you call him in, feel what changes around you energetically. Become aware and sensitive to the energy around the body. You might feel temperature changes, you might feel pressure, but you need to learn to train your sensorial apparatus to perceive beyond the biological norm, right? Because the body will only do what the body's doing unless you retrain it. It's like an athlete. Athletes can do things that most people can't do. They train their body to do the pole vaulting, right? And high jumping and running at incredible speeds. They have to train the body. It would not in and of itself do that. So you have to train your consciousness to get your body to perceive beyond the normal range of senses. Very important. Very, very important. Great question, Manoj. Thank you. Question from Natalie. Is there any message for me from anyone? Because I feel like there is some spirit trying to contact me. There's, I don't know why, they're behind you. They're behind you still. Yeah. Again, go back to the place of feeling. If you're feeling them, tune into the sensation of their presence. Tune into the sensation of their presence. Tune into the sensation that you're feeling of them with you. And just allow yourself to be aware. Don't be surprised or upset if you suddenly feel their presence suddenly leap out. That's happened before too. The soul, the spirit of that individual suddenly, boop, right in front of you. Energetically, you'll feel them right there. So don't be surprised if that happens. Don't be surprised. Just be excited. Scrolling down. Oh, you're welcome, Nancy. Oh, you're welcome, Trinity. Question from Wanjma. What is the ringing sound I hear in the early morning hours and when I am quiet? And how can it be used for the good? Great question. Often we define the ringing sensation as an ascension symptom. Remember, the medical profession defines health and biology by the conditions of body. They do not measure that which their instruments cannot measure. Science cannot. So they've got a perception of what ringing in the ears. Some of them call it tinnitus, right? That's their level based on the understanding of biology. But what we say is this is an assumption. This is your body reacting to a vibrational frequency that's beyond the normal range of hearing that you are picking up. The key to beginning to understand and comprehend these messages lies first in beginning to be able to allow yourself to feel not the symptom of the sound, but the vibration of the information that's contained therein. When you sense these ringing sounds or you sense these temperature changes around you, do not get caught in the phenomena that your body perceives, but allow your awareness to sense the vibrational meaning and energy contained within that which your body is perceiving. That allows you to extend your range of perception beyond just what the ear hears. Then you tune into the energy of it rather than the sound of it. Because energy and sound, while they can be interactive, the body perceives it on one level and you as awareness perceive it on another. You perceive it as awareness on another level if you allow yourself to. But many of you find yourselves getting these symptoms and you go into body and you think that the symptom is the body exclusively. Most conditions of disease are results of certain qualities of emotion that are built up in the body unconsciously over a period of time, and they cause certain conditions. But again, science can only measure what it can measure with its instruments. It cannot measure emotion. Science cannot even measure mind. They think that the movement of brain waves, the measuring of brain waves, is a measure of mind. It is not. It is a measure of the activity of thought interacting, information interacting with the physical brain. But it is not mind. Mind is invisible, but it's not invisible to you as awareness. Mind is visible to the soul. In fact, all things are visible to your soul when you understand. But many of you have been localized to believe that body is exclusively who you are, so you find yourself trapped in the body, thinking it's the only reality is this physical world. And so you are cut off from great resources available to you from many sources throughout the cosmos, throughout reality. Got time for one more question. Oh, you're welcome, Trinity. Question from Audrey. Am I on the right path in orchestrating leaving a decent but dead-end job for a new career teaching music to children? Wow. I get this huge rush of love for you, that you would choose to follow your love. Yes, your love will do greater things than these. One of the challenges that your species faces today is that too many of you are seeking the security of things rather than the value of things. The value of things will liberate your society, your species, from needless suffering. The accumulation of things may be beneficial to the pleasure of your senses, but it is detrimental to the evolution of your soul. Love is the path of evolution. And if your love is your work in expression, what good could come from that? What but good could come from love? Wow, thank you for that question. Beautiful. Question from Keith. Gotcha. I am 28 months awake and I have connected to my higher self. William, could you please ask my higher self for a message that he wishes me to concentrate on, please? Thank you. First of all, Keith, there's this beautiful light coming down. It's like this golden yellow light just coming down. It's to feel the vibration that I offer you. Do not try to interpret its meaning at this time. Be willing to simply feel this vibration. This one interprets that vibration as these colors, lights. Do not get caught in the phenomena of what you see, but be aligned to the vibrational quality that you feel from me. You may also acquire very specific information from me in terms of what you can or cannot do. You can feel a yes, and you can feel a no in what I say to you through these feelings. Wow. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Wow. Well, guys, one more question from Vertical. When will science wake up? Your science is beginning to wake up. It is like anything else. When you open your eyes in the morning, you just don't necessarily jump out of bed full awake. But your science is beginning to wake up. It is beginning to comprehend and understand that there are things beyond the range of its instruments. It is now beginning to explore the mystical, which is quite simply natural. So this is happening. This is already happening. Wow. Oh, thank you, Karen. Really appreciate that super chat. If you want to support this work, please become a member of my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. It helps to keep these messages going the way we're going. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts to Your Soul. This week, you'll also see on my website by Friday, you'll see the event posted on my website for the 5 days of healing and the 5 days of awakening that are going to be happening in August of next month, probably the second week of August. So I'm going to look forward to getting that up on the wall for you guys. It'll be 5 days, 2 hours per day, Monday to Friday. The first week will be 5 days of healing with certain archangels and ascended masters, and then there'll be 5 days of awakening with a few other beings as well. I want to say thank you guys for your support and for showing up today. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday, and much love to everybody. Bye for now.